What's up, guys? It's your boy Nick Mark, and today I am at the shop. What we are looking at today is a 2008 Grand Marquis. It has 241,000 miles on it, and she's a little rusty. And kind of wanted to talk about why I bought a rotted out high mileage Grand Marquis. So I originally purchased it as a winter beater for 1,500 bucks. Marketplace, no issues. That was the standpoint it was at, and he was so confident that he actually drove it to me to deliver it. Well, in all retrospect, obviously that's a bad idea because it was warmed up, not cold. You never know what you're getting yourself into. But basically, after about 200 miles, oh, actually after the first day, transmission started slipping. So in an effort to try to save it, I put some Lucas in it, dropped the pan, changed the filter, threw the Lucas in it, see if that would possibly help. It definitely did not help. If anything, it made it worse. It started slipping at about 200 miles. Transmission completely went out. So as you see, there's a torque converter on the ground because I said, you know what, fuck it. I like the car and I liked how it drove. So I pulled the transmission out, which I didn't film any of this because I didn't really plan on making like a build on this car. It was just supposed to be a winter car. I was like, yeah, fuck it, we're gonna just put a tranny in it. Yeah, well, basically, it was supposed to be put a tranny in it, but when I had it for like a couple hundred miles, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cut the springs and lower it. So I'm gonna put a video right now. Of what it looked like after I lowered it and bought these wheels off Marketplace, which I found these wheels for 220 bucks on Marketplace with tires. So I was like, you know what? They're the right lug pattern. They're the right offset. Clearly, you can see by on the left, on the jack stands. It's the right offset. So it's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep this thing. So it's leather interior. It's got shit all in here. So with it being jacked up, the door doesn't like to open with the fender there. Yeah, she's a little rough. Let's go to passenger side so I can kind of show you a little bit of the inside. So I mean, realistically, you got a little tape there, a little tape on the driver's seat, but it really, like, I don't know what he was really taping because there's not really much of a hole. Maybe there's a little one back there, but I mean, the interior itself is in really good condition. He said it had no issues when I bought it. He drove it to my house and there was no radio there, so I put a cheap $40 head unit in from Walmart and wired that in. It was 50 bucks with the wiring kit, so whatever. It has cruise control, power windows, power seats. It's got the whole nine. It's got active bolstering and cool, wow. But it had a misfire, cylinder 7, and a mass airflow code. First day I bought it, actually shut off on me while I was driving, so I replaced the mass airflow. That was a problem. I changed spark plug on cylinder 7, had auto lights in it. I put another auto light in it, swapped coils. These two from back. Misfire completely went away, so I was like, yeah. And then, I mean, realistically, the thing drives. It was driving beautifully. So I was like, yeah, not thinking much of it. Realistically now, looking at it on a lift, from what I could tell, let's grab the light so I can kind of walk you around. What I can tell, like, let's look at the frame over here. I mean, look at the frame. So, I mean, it's got surface, but I mean, realistically, you look at stuff like that, that's nothing. If you live in upstate New York, you know, obviously you have fenders that look like this, but I mean, even the frame, I mean, it's got scale, nothing that's close to holes though. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're gonna put money into it and put a tranny in it. So I got the transmission out. So the exhaust, actually, let's go back here. We can kind of hopefully take a further look if we could see it. The exhaust was pretty rotted. That's about how it came apart. So at this point, we're gonna be building a custom exhaust too. Now at that point, I'm taking it apart, and to get the passenger side exhaust studs off, you have to pull the fender liner out, and you have to get it through the fender well. Well, you know what? I'll show you a picture of exactly what I found.
I had 4 shots and 3 of those drinks before we left Bill's house.
And I found that, and I was like, you know what, that's the extent of it. That's fixable, which we fixed yesterday. I fixed it yesterday, actually. Top is solid, but then I was digging and found that there was a gen hole here, which we'll place pictures before and afters right there. So to do that, I had to remove the canister. I had to move some stuff over, pop some brackets off, because it went too under the bracket, so I had to move that out of the way. But realistically, after I did that frame repair, the rest is fairly solid. Let's get a further look underneath the car. Like, realistically, the body, like floor pans, everything is solid. It's just, yeah, it's upstate New York. And I pulled this side rocker off. And we got this rust back here through the fender wells. This is like what we're working with here. I mean, got some scaly stuff up there, nothing too crazy. Rockers are gone. Pop the door open. So realistically, I'm gonna try to do some body work and remake, because right up to here is solid, so we'll cut all this off. It's solid up to right here, so we'll cut right here, weld that down, and we're gonna remake this whole side. We're gonna make the other side. Kind of my thought, if I can find a company that sells car rockers, like you know, like the extra long rockers for even any car, like a Ford Fusion, the actual steel bent rockers, I would like to put those on. I would weld those in instead of these plastic ones. I'm not really a huge fan of the plastic ones. I'm gonna get new fenders, obviously. I have a coworker rebuilding the transmission, so I mean, I'll kind of show that when it's all taken apart. But I really love this car, honestly. Like, that was not the purpose of buying it, was to love it, but after driving it even for a week or two, fucking love the thing, and it drove great, and it was just very comfortable to drive. And obviously, compared to my my E350 there, this is a whole different kind of driving car. It has the 4.62 valve, which is the same as my Mustang, so obviously I know this engine fucking top to bottom. If you watch my other two videos, I'm very knowledgeable on the 4.6 platform. Well, this is Panther platform. Which is good about these cars, though, is that they are a solid frame, not a unibody. So if the body starts rusting out, you still have the frame, and the vehicle's still technically solid. So I'm gonna have to, so basically the build is going to be fixing all the rust. I'm gonna show process of the transmission, the exhaust. I am going to wire brush the frame. I'm gonna hit it with the black fluid film, because I would like to preserve the frame if I'm gonna keep the car. And to most people, I would say this is a terrible idea and you shouldn't do it. But if you really care about something, and honestly, you might be a little bored in wintertime, not like we're running low on projects to work on around here, but I always like kind of, like, realistically, if this went to any other person on Marketplace for 1,500 bucks and this happened, this would have been it. It would have been at the junkyard. Sayonara to this car, goodbye. It would be at Wilbert's right now, which is the local junkyard by me. But I'm not like that, and I want to, I can't watch something just kind of deteriorate in front of me. If I can fix it, and I think I can fix it, and it's a learning process. Like, I've never actually done frame repair. Obviously, I've welded. I've talked about that in my other videos, like control arms and stuff. But how I fixed it was my titanium Easy Flux 125 and Harbor Freight angle grinder and a couple wire brushes. So I mean, if you can make excuses all you want about, I can't do this, I can't do that, or you can fucking give it a try, because I have a Harbor Freight welding helmet, Harbor Freight welder, and a Harbor Freight grinder. Realistically, you're 150 bucks in, and I spent 20, 30 bucks on metal, and then 30 bucks for a fire extinguisher, just in case I caught it on fire, because we're welding your fuel lines. And you know what, we just repaired the frame, and I mean, is it 100% a professional repair? By any means, no, but I would consider that personally an acceptable repair, because I cut the old stuff out and I didn't just weld a piece of steel over the rot and call it a day. Watched a couple research videos on it and kind of just did my own thing. Bent my own metal up here, because obviously you have this whole frame rail that goes down, and you had to bend it, cut it a bunch of times. But I mean, so more about the car. I mean, we have some clean body, like the rest of the body's pretty clean. Definitely could use some brakes. Suspension's getting a little rough. There's no play in any of the suspension, so that's obviously a win. We're gonna find some fenders for it. Personally, with rebuilding this side, I could make my own metal to fix all this, or I want to go to local junkyards that actually allow grinders, because some of them don't. And this is solid. That's just surface. Like this is not so much. So if I could cut out like this, weld that in. If I could try to find this portion, I'd like to weld that in. And then, like I talked about, if I can find clean rocker, I would like to weld in rockers, like actual metal rockers on it. I've never seen someone do that, so I think that would be cool. I am going to paint the car. We're not going to keep it this old man color. I am going to do a full dual true exhaust on it. I do want to do that with it and kind of just really make a cool, clean daily. We're going to take this molding off here, and I'm going to paint it. Whether I buy a paint gun and try to do it that way, might try that way. I may try to do the most professional job you can do with rattle cans, make a video on that, because I know people do like to see doing DIY stuff and showing you that realistically you do not need a lot of money to build a kind of cooler car. I mean, cool car, but it's a 4.6, it's a V8. You can lower these. They're a good platform to build, and if you really like them, you can manual swap them. I would prefer an automatic as a daily, but I mean, yeah, I mean, rock wheels, I really don't care. I'm not a huge snob when it comes to wheels and stuff like that. But if this is something you want to see the process of, obviously I'm gonna start actually filming it if I start getting some interest in it. If not, then I guess I won't, but maybe I will, just see if the channel grows a little bit. But I've talked about it before, I'm not super worried about growing a channel or anything. That's not really why I do it. I just kind of like making videos. But if this is a build process you want to see and watch a car that was destined for the junkyard get revived by a kid that doesn't know any better and should have gave up a long time ago, I mean, I guess like, comment, subscribe, and share the video, like it, share it to your friends, you know, do your thing. Have a good one.